And we're live. Hello, beautiful people. I am here with Mans, and we're going to be doing our next Sculpt Session podcast. And today we're talking about how to be a coachable client. And when I say coachable client, I don't mean you are a robot and you are checking off every single box 365 days in a year for years on end, never have a mess up, never have a slip up. I simply mean you are a coachable client, and we'll get into what that means and what that looks like. But I want to open up the floor for you, Mans, and I want to hear from you. When you hear coachable client, what does a coachable client look like to you?
Mm. A coachable client is going to be somebody who they might not be like 100% confident yet that coaching is what they like is going to be the right fit for them, and that's fine. But as long as you are majority like, I'm going to try this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give it my all, I'm sick of my shit, I'm ready for a change, that's what I'm looking for. Commitment to some degree.
Yes.
Like again, your confidence level doesn't have to be 100%, but if you're ready, you're sick of your shit, you've got the willpower, you're willing to learn. Because honestly, I mean, I don't know what you would say, but I would argue that a lot of coaching is education based. It's like you said, you're not a robot. We don't expect you to be a robot and check the boxes off every single day. But we want to educate you, teach you how to take care of yourself for whatever goal you have. And eventually, like, you can do that independently. Like, we would love for you guys to stick around forever, but at the end of the day, we are a means to an end to whatever goal that you are seeking for yourself. So if you're going to be coachable, that means you are coming to us ready to learn and willing to apply.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head with that, and I love what you just said of you are ready to learn and willing to apply, because the way that I view a coachable client is someone who, like you said, you don't have to be there yet. Like, we're not expecting perfection. If you were perfect, you wouldn't need us. Like, if you could do everything on your own, you wouldn't need us. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have a job. But when you are to be a coachable client is someone that's able to receive feedback, who wants to learn, who's eager to learn, who's applying the things that we're recommending, who's being honest, who's being respectful, who's doing the work that it takes to get to where they want to be. And there are a couple of things that I want to hit while we're going to be talking about this topic. And the first thing that I want to be talking about is communication. Communication is the foundation of results. If you don't communicate with your coach, if your coach doesn't know what the heck is going on until shit hits the fan, that is your problem. Like, that is your doing. That is your wrongdoing, because we are not here as judges. We don't have what is it that the judges have?
A gavel.
Gavel. I almost called it a spatula. We don't we don't have a gavel and we're gonna be like guilty, jail time. Like, no, we are here to meet you where you're at and help you to where you want to go. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to make you feel bad about how you've lived your life before, or even while we're working together, if you like fall off track or you have a shitty week or you, I don't know, have a binge moment or whatever the case is, and you're not communicating that, we can't help you. So for me, my biggest thing as a coach, and the first thing that I tell any of my clients who sign up with me, and I'm always constantly reiterating to everyone that I speak to and communicate to and work with, communicate with me. Tell me what the hell is going on. Because if it's good, great. We can celebrate your wins together and we can keep moving forward. If it's bad, great. Let me be there to help you work through your struggles. Let me help you turn around your whatever the heck just happened and move forward. Because if we don't catch it,
Mhm.
it's it's just stacking on problems. So that's my thing about communication. And I have a couple other things to add, but I want to hand over the mic for you about communicating and like having that kind of relationship with a coach.
Yeah. I mean, I not to just like be like, I agree, a yes man, but like seriously, I do agree that communication is literally probably going to be one of your most important components in like a coach-client relationship. And I I know for a fact because you and I have kind of worked together on the same coaching team for a while. We are, I would say, pretty good. We're good communicators. And I know not every person that starts coaching is used to having open communication that way, even with some of their friends. And that's okay. So, like when Sasha says, we will meet you where you're at, like we will meet you where you're at, but also the expectation is when you are coming into coach, like say somebody's coming to you, Sash, and they want to get glutes. They're like, I want to grow my booty. Um, a part of that too, though, is communication because if they just broke up with their partner and they're really having a hard time, like they lost their appetite because they feel depressed and they're not eating what they need to eat to put the muscle on their glutes, like for some people listening, yeah, it might feel like TMI to be telling your coach what's happening in your personal life, but it is extremely relevant. So we encourage you to tell us what you're comfortable with because it does, in fact, impact those goals that you're coming to a coach to achieve.
Yes, I love that
So,
you just
I,
mentioned that.
yeah, do you, how do you handle that? Like, because of course, when we make coaching plans, everyone is unique and different. So, when you get like women coming to you that might be a little bit more on the shy or reserved side, but like they've got good energy, how do you approach those people that need a little TLC in the communication realm?
Um, a couple different ways. The first way is on the consultation call, and anyone who has gotten on a consultation call with me or has signed up with me as a current client, as a past client, I say this line. And the line is, I am not a therapist, but I'm a girl. I'm not a therapist, but
Oh,
I'm a girl. And
I
I
love that.
understand life happens and I understand shit happens. And I understand that one day you might wake up in the worst mood because, I don't know, you're freaking dog shit on the carpet and like you're having family problems and this and that. And what I explain when I say that is anything that happens in your life will affect how you show up for yourself, whether it's good things and then you're like showing up for yourself better, or it's bad things and you're having a hard time showing up for yourself. Things outside things will affect how you feel about yourself internally and how you show up for yourself. So if you're having a really shitty day and that's causing you to not want to drink your water, hit your meals, hit your steps, whatever, like I encourage all of my girls to reach out to me when that's happening so that I can help reel it back, like just talk to them or like be someone who they can listen, who can listen to them talking, or like give my um my advice to or anything. And like I said, I say I'm not a therapist because I'm not qualified to give advice like a therapist. I would never hold myself to that standard, like you know, like I'm a licensed therapist or whatever, like absolutely not. But I am a girl who goes through shit, who feels the feels, who feels emotions, who sees how it could affect someone. Like, I think I've just gotten to the point in my fitness journey where the world could be on fire around me, and I'm like, I'm hitting my macros. Like, it's just like, I'm like, that's, and it's taken years
Mhm.
to get there. But when I tell that to clients or future clients or prospects, it always makes them laugh. That's first of all. So they're like, oh, haha, like she's not just like a coach who gives me a workout program and a nutrition program, but she's also a person who
Mhm.
understands that things can come up. And that isn't always enough. Like sometimes they still feel a little bit reserved. And that's when I encourage them to like get on a call with me. And if they're not booking a call, I'll reach out and I'm like, hey, let's schedule a call for this week. I just want to like nothing specific about your program. I just want to touch base with you and like see how you're doing and whatever the case is. And from there, sometimes you got to play the long game a little bit because, listen, not everyone's an open book. Not everyone feels comfortable just talking about themselves or what they're going through or sharing with their coach. But when you feel heard and you feel seen and you're able to apply certain things to your life to improve it, like that helps kind of peel the onion a little bit. And I've seen that through my clients of like how they have opened up to me over the weeks and the months and some years that we've been working together, where now we'll see each other and I'll just see their face and I'm like, all right, what happened? Like we can like
Yeah.
immediately, like we know how, like I know them to that point, because it does take a little bit for a coach to get to know someone also, and like how
Mhm.
they feel, how certain things affect them. But and I've also seen that in my relationship with my coach, because when I first started working with her, it's like, yeah, I told her some things here and there, but now we're at the point where like she pretty much knows everything that's going on in my life outside of fitness, because those things affect my life and in turn
Mhm.
affect my fitness goals. So to answer your question, I handle it with patience, with grace, with love, and just constantly reminding like I am here for you and I will keep reaching out and keep doing my part of listening to you, of being there for you, but you also kind of have to do your part of trusting me and working with me. And it's like if you chose me to be your coach, you didn't just choose me to write you a workout plan and give you a nutrition guidance. Like you chose me
Mhm.
because I of the way that I go about things, and I believe that it's not just nutrition and workouts, it is your lifestyle and everything that comes with it, relationships, families, everything. So that kind of like I'm not going to move on to my next point, but to be a coachable client is also to work with a coach that you trust. Because when you trust someone, you can then feel comfortable enough to open up to them, even if it's little by little. So don't just
Mhm.
work with a coach because they're a fitness influencer, but work with them because you feel like you know them, and you will get to know them as you're working with them. You like them and you trust them. Because if you don't trust them, but they
Mhm.
have a great body, it's like,
Yeah, what's the point?
you know,
It, it's funny because as you're saying all of these things, I'm thinking about like, wow, this almost it sounds like you could also apply it directly to like a relationship, a
it
romantic
is.
one or a friendship. And it's like you have to be intentional about like to your next point, which like I'll hand that back to you, but like when you're choosing a coach, like it's in the same vein of choosing a romantic partner or choosing to be friends with someone. Like, is this person aligned with me? Do I feel safe with them? Do I feel like I can talk to them? Like, you like coaching is not normal. At least the coaching we do is not like a, hey, we're gonna do this for 8 weeks and then like you're gonna be fit and like, okay, bye. Like, we have a very holistic approach. So you should be intentional when you choose your coach. So I'm gonna let you talk about that. But like
No,
that's
I
all I could
love
think
that.
about, like hearing you. I'm like, yeah, it's a relationship.
I love that you said that, because it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. It's because it includes everything that a relationship includes, as far as respect, as far as communication, as far as trust, as far as just being open and being open to hear feedback, being open to some constructive criticism, being open to, and that also comes back to a coach, because you also, if you're one of those coaches where it's like, all right, we got 8 weeks on a plan and here's your workout and here's your nutrition, by all means, if you're a cookie cutter coach, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're just selling programs and clients know that you're a cookie cutter coach selling programs, some people don't
That's
want that
fine.
personal experience, but that personal experience is what makes this a lifestyle for you. It's what makes it lifelong, not 8 weeks long, but God willingly 80 years long, where you're so how do I say it? You're so touched by the way that you have evolved during the time of working with us, that even when you do grow your wings and fly away, you can keep applying these things for the rest of your life. And it's more than just, oh, I know what workouts to do and how to eat. It's,
Hmm.
I know how to set boundaries. I know how to take care of my mind. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Because, like you said, if they're dealing with like a terrible breakup, but trying to like work out and this and that, it's like, all right, let's talk about how you could put yourself first. Let's talk about
Hmm.
why we don't people please. Let's talk about boundaries. Let's like not all of my coaching calls, a lot of my coaching calls are actually not related to talking about their program or their nutrition, unless they're a new client or I've made like significant changes. Those are things that we talk about in the check-in form. a lot of my calls are specifically about how their relationship with food is, how their relationship with themselves is, how their relationship with other people is, and like how that affects them and how they show up for themselves. So communicating is everything. And if you're not communicating, you're stripping yourself from that experience with your coach and you are making it harder to be coachable.
Mm, Hondo.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even have anything to add to that. It's just like, yeah, absolutely.
And I know we kind of touched on the trusting the coach that you choose, and I feel like I've said my part on that. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add. I feel like you do, so please go right ahead.
Yeah. And I will keep this disclaiming it as this is my personal experience. Um, I'll be honest, the first coach I chose to work with was a cookie cutter coach. And I sort of knew this. I did choose them because they were an influencer of sorts. They had their own clothing company. They were very flashy. Um, I'm not gonna name names, but I understood I was buying a 12-week program. And for me, just getting into fitness, I get why people want that because it's like low risk, low commitment, like you're getting your feet wet. I totally understand. But if you want to change your life, that's not the way to
No, you
necessarily
gotta
go for
jump
most
head
people.
first, like just jump
Right.
right the hell in.
Yeah. So with this coach, I was told check-ins are weekly. You're going to submit your pictures, you're going to submit like your written check-in, how everything's going, ask questions. Barely, I would never get a response. Like maybe twice a month I'd get a response and it would be like one sentence long. And
Mm,
I was like, wow, I don't trust this person because there is no communication. So just like we want clients to be coachable, like your coach also has to like you said, meet us halfway.
yeah.
Um, the next coach that I worked with, I had a very good relationship with him. I was with him for almost 2 years. He Thank you so much to him. He gave me so much muscle tissue. He truly did sort of train me like a dude, honestly.
Huh.
Um, and the only reason that I ended up moving on from that relationship, as I'll say it, a coaching relationship, is because I lost some trust. And this is why it's important as a client that you have to trust the coach that you choose to hire. I lost some trust because I said, "Hey, I want to prep." He said, "I got you. We can do that." And I'd only ever seen him prep men.
Mm,
So this isn't to say I lost trust as him, like that he didn't know what he was talking about with food. He didn't know what he was talking about with training. I lost trust in that he told me we can prep. And within the first 6 weeks, I gained 8 pounds because instead of macros, he gave me a meal plan. And I'd be like, hey, this isn't working for me. And now I have to move my show date.
uh,
So I didn't like lose love for him. He was a great coach, but for the season I was moving into, it didn't make sense. And I did lose that trust.
yeah.
And then went on to find a new coach that was going to be in alignment with that. So that was my experience as a client. But as a coach, if I'm seeking a client that I want them to be coachable and I want them to trust me, I will say this. One of my biggest pet peeves as a coach is if you choose to work with me, you tell me to my face like you're having a good experience, you're pretending like everything is fine. And the reason I say pretending is because then later on, if I find out like you're talking to other coaches, like you don't trust me. And that's fine, but then that goes back to what we said, number one, communicate. If there's something that you have a question about and it doesn't make sense to you, ask me. Talk to me about it. Like, I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel good. I want you to trust me and I want to trust you. But if you're telling me that you're executing the plan and you're really not, and you're going behind my back and doing something different, or if you're telling me everything is fine, and then like a month or two later it comes up that everything wasn't fine, but your check-in said fine, like it breaks the trust for me that I have in you as a client. So it's kind of like it just goes back to that relationship aspect. Like there has to be trust, or you're not gonna get the badonkadonk you want because like we need that open communication. We need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
want to touch on the point that you just mentioned about when you don't have trust in your coach or like you go behind their back to talk to another coach or this or that. Like when you make that decision to do that, you're better off
it's
cutting
over.
ties with your coach and just finding someone else. Like when you start bringing in so many cooks into the kitchen, it gets really freaking tricky. It gets
Messy.
it gets very messy and it's very interesting because I've seen some coaches and some clients where they have one coach that does their meals, one coach that does their training, one coach that does their posing, and that can work perfectly. Like there could be no problem if they're all on the same page or like they're on the same team or like for example, like if I send a client to you and you do blood work for them and then you recommend something in their lifestyle change and you reach out to me like, hey, their cortisol is really high, like maybe instead of 5 days of training, they should do 4 days or maybe they shouldn't do such intense cardio or like have a
Mhm.
macro change, whatever. We speak about that as coaches. We explain to each other our feedback, and then we can apply that to making sure that our client is having improvements. But now, if a client is going from coach A to coach Z, who have nothing to do with one another, who don't know each other, and like actually going behind a coach's back, whether it's for a new training program, a new meal plan, I heard a crazy freaking story actually from this gem of a coach. I don't want to name names because I don't want to give away people's privacy, but this coach was telling me how she was working with a client and the client went behind her back and started taking certain enhancements
Do not. Oh my God.
that the coach specifically said you are not in a place to take this right now. Like you cannot be taking this right now due to some of her health factors and like just things like that she should not be
Mhm.
doing. And the client went to her friend who's a coach
Oh no.
and who's also like a man and doesn't really understand about women and started taking stuff and then went on the internet saying that like, oh, this coach told me to do and it was like really messy and she immediately cut her off as a client, which is something that I want to talk about too, is like if you're not a coachable client, we'll fire you. Like it's not like the same way that a client could fire a coach for not listening to them or not helping them or not working well with them. A coach could fire a client. It can go both ways. And in that situation, like my jaw was on the floor because of A, the nerve that it takes to go behind. It's like cheating on your significant other. And like that's how I view it. Like I would never ever go against my coach. I have a coach, Mans has a coach. Like we both have coaches that we work with. We're both coaches and have clients because I think that not to say that we're like number one coaches and like but I think that good coaches, I think that we're great coaches, but good coaches
Mhm.
should have their own coach as well. And they should have a coach and like to always be learning from. I would never, ever go behind my coach's back, not even with my training protocol. Like I wouldn't add in an extra exercise because someone else recommended it if I don't run it by my coach first. And like that's purely because of
100%.
how much respect I have for her and how much respect I have for the work that she does towards my protocol. Because being a coach, I know what it takes to set
Mhm.
a certain protocol, to set a certain plan, to set a certain thing. And all of that goes back. And everything that we're going to talk about goes back to communication and to respect and to trust.
Mhm.
So that was like a crazy little story that I wanted to just throw in there of like it's you can't have that many cooks in the kitchen. You can't go against a protocol that was built for you. And if you went with one coach and working with them for a couple of months, you're not happy with them or where you've gotten or you don't feel
Mhm.
that click, that's okay. Like that shouldn't turn you away from ever working with a coach ever again because especially if you're new and you're shopping around and maybe you got like sucked into like working with the most popular coaches or like a friend of a friend is working with them, so you wanted to work with them too. It's okay to cut ties with a coach and shop around for someone else. It's
Mhm.
okay to switch coaches. It's okay to find someone new, but it's not okay to do that behind the back of someone who's pouring into you and like trying to help you achieve your goals.
Oh, I love the way that you just said that last part because it's true. Like if your boyfriend or girlfriend went behind your back and was talking to another person, like that would hurt. And it's like, well, why are you with me if you want to talk to other people? And that's like how I feel too. Like if you no longer want to work with me or you don't feel for whatever reason comfortable enough to communicate with me about a question that you have, I want you to go where you're comfortable. I want you to work with somebody. You don't feel the need to go ask 80 different people their opinion, which in some cases could also go back to like, is this really that you didn't want to ask me or trust me, or is this a I need external validation from a lot of people, which I've seen both cases.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like, hey, if it felt like a good fit at first and it no longer does, like, yeah, just be honest. Be like, hey, like, most of us have contracts in place. If the contract's coming up or something happens and you want to be like, you know what, I think it's time for me to adventure on my own or to check out other things, hey, just be respectful and we are full support. Like you can still keep the relationship with your previous coach intact and positive, which I have with like some of mine. Um, and then you never know. Like you could get referrals or maybe at a later point in your life, like that's a good fit again. So
Yeah.
it's like just don't burn your bridges by doing shady shit.
Yeah, yeah. And I like what you just said about, still having a good relationship with people that you used to work with or that you used to coach with, because the coach that I used to work with prior to my current coach, we still follow each other on social media. Like, we'll wish each other happy birthday or like whatever. Like, there's no hard feelings. Like, we're just on two different paths. We have two different goals. We are two very different people. And we could have started off more similar and then grown out of each other. And that's okay. Like, people grow out of each other, friendships, relationships, coaches. Like, that is not a bad thing. If anything, that's a good thing because that shows that, yeah, maybe they were a great starting point for you, or maybe they were just a great for you at that time with based on where you were at in your life. But maybe if you're trying to take it to the next level, you need someone who is at the next level and or who can meet
Mhm.
you at that next level and take you higher. So it's not necessarily that like you burn the bridge and that's it, screw you, like we're never speaking again. It doesn't have to be that way if you do things nicely and properly and correctly, which would be having an honest conversation. And that kind of brings me to the point of if things aren't working or you don't see things working, I want you to ask yourself if you're doing what you should be doing. Because it's one thing to stop working with a coach because you've grown out of them or because their protocol just doesn't fit your lifestyle. I've seen that. I've seen that where
Mhm.
it just didn't work. I've had clients who come to me who used to work with other coaches. I left my coach, like our contract ended, and I was like, thank you so much, love you, but I need someone who's going to take me further. And there was no hard feelings. It was very much like, please, I'll send you referrals. I'll tell you who like recommend for you. But it is a different conversation that I want to get to right now. If you are a client and you are not happy with your coach, but you are not doing what the coach told you to do. Like you're not following your protocol, you're not doing your stuff, and then you're upset that you're not getting results,
Mhm.
then you are not
Yeah.
coachable because you are not following it. And if you're confused about your protocol, or why do I need to hit 10,000 steps, or why do I need to drink half a gallon of water a day, or why do I need to hit these macros and not the macros that another coach gave me, or whatever. And you don't like, if you don't ask those questions, but then you also don't do the things that you were programmed to do, like by your coach, like by the program that you have, and you're not reaching your results, you can't hate on the coach for that. You can't be
Hmm.
mad at the coach if you're not doing the work. That's a you problem. That's
Mhm.
your doing. If and that's a hard pill to swallow, but you got to be able to take accountability for what you're doing and what you're not. Because if I wasn't following my protocol, I sure as hell would not be looking the way that I'm looking. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, well, to add to that too, like we started out saying, you don't have to check all the boxes 365 days. Like, you don't have to do that. But if you're not spending the majority of the time checking those boxes, and those are boxes that arguably, like, we're talking about coaching client as a relationship, but it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
So like if I go to Sasha and I'm like, "Hey, I have a desk job. Hitting 10K steps is not feasible for me because I work 12-hour days." That I guarantee Sasha's not going to be like, well, that's too damn bad. Do it anyway, bitch.
Yeah.
She's going to be like, okay, well, how's about Monday through Friday when you're at work, we aim for X amount of steps. And then on the weekends when you have free time, we can increase it a little bit. And then I'll just adjust your calories and macros to reflect the activity level. Like, we want to collaborate with you. We want to make this fit your lifestyle so it is sustainable long term. So you should be checking the boxes the majority of the time. It shouldn't be that hard. So
I
I
love that
agree
you
with you.
just I just
Like,
love that you pointed that out because yes, we are not robots. Like I have a free meal once a week that I eat whatever I want. And I've had my days when I was short on my water goal or whatever, but I communicate that to my coach and I'm like, hey, listen, like there was one day I just didn't hit my water and that might have made no difference in my check-in. That might have made a slight difference in my check-in. I don't know, but I'm just gonna tell you. And like, she's never like, oh, what the hell's wrong with you? It's just like, all right, cool. Like, just make sure to stay on top of that moving forward. And like, if I have a client that's struggling with that, I'll give them actionable steps of set alarms or buy a different water bottle or whatever the case may be, drink more front load in the beginning of the day so that you're not trying to make it up at the end and then peeing in the middle of the night. Like that's just an example, but we're not
yeah.
like I'm not saying that you're not doing hold on, trying to get my words together. We aren't expecting perfection. We're not expecting for you to do everything perfectly to a T every single week because something will come up, whether it's a family dinner or your period comes around, or God forbid you get sick, or something happens in your family where you're just something, anything, and you
Mhm.
can't hit your stuff for a day or two, or whatever the case is. You communicate that to us. So that way we know what's going on. We know why your check-in is the way that it is. We know why maybe we didn't see as much progress during that time period that you were going through things. We're able to help you in your physical program, but also mentally and like be there for you. And we keep progressing regardless. Like it's not a matter of you're either perfect and coachable or you miss a thing and like all of a sudden you're not. Like, no, you're a coachable client when you are a real human being who makes errors because we as humans will make errors. We are not perfect. We are not designed to be that way. But with that, you are an honest person and you're honest about what you're doing. What I was referring to is like on your check-in, you're saying that, yeah, complied, yeah, did all my things, did this, did that, did the third, did the fifth. But then I pull up your trainer eyes and you got 4,000 steps when your goal is 8,000 steps. Or you didn't check off your water goal, or you weren't hitting your macros and you're not communicating that to me. Now that you can't walk back on that and say, oh, well, I'm like, why am I not reaching my goals? Like, that's why I'm not doing it because I'm not reaching my goals. It's like, well, you're not reaching your goals because you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So,
Or trying.
or trying
That's,
or making an effort.
yeah. But we will always work with you. Whenever something comes up, I think this whole thing could be summarized as like, just don't be an asshole.
No,
Just
seriously,
don't be an
seriously, just
asshole.
don't be an asshole to yourself and your
Yeah.
body, and don't be an asshole to us. Like we're
Yeah.
here
Don't
for
lie.
you. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't be mean.
Yeah. Don't murder.
No, well, yeah, that and like if God forbid you do something criminal, like don't tell us. Like we don't want to be a part of that. Like we're here we're here for
We'll
everything
s-
except
we'll
for
support
any
you, but we've got boundaries.
yeah. And, like those boundaries, like I don't want to get called anywhere. So like don't tell me about like crazy shit that you do, okay? Like as long as you're okay.
Yeah. No, but that basically is like it in a nutshell. Just be a good human. Be
Yeah.
respectful, be communicative, be collaborative. Now I feel like I sound like a corporate training.
I know, I love
But
it. But it's
but
true.
it's true.
It's true.
Jinx.
Double jinx. Knock on wood. And the last thing that I want to say is to be a coachable client is to take ownership of your journey. It's to take
Mm,
ownership of the fact that it's to take ownership of what you're doing. It's to understand that we are here as support and we will walk next to you and we will walk you to the water and we will bring you everything that you need. We'll give you the tools. We'll literally hand you the toolbox, but we can't force you to build. Like, we can't force you to do the thing. We can't force you to drink the water. We can't force you to build the house. Like, we can't force you to do the thing. So we can give you all the tools in the world, but if you don't want to do it as much as we want, like, we can't want it. I can't want it more than you want it. We need to have an
mm.
equal level of want. If anything, you should want it more for yourself. And I want it like hell for you. Like I want it more than anything for my clients to reach my goals or anyone that comes to me for them to get to where they want to be. But you need to want it more. Because if I want it more for you, then I'm chasing you down for check-ins. Then I'm chasing you down to hit your protocol. Then I'm chasing you down to live the lifestyle that you want, but clearly just not as much as I wanted for you. So taking ownership of your journey, wanting it bad enough, and showing up like the person that you want to be is what makes someone a coachable client for me.
I agree, dude.
Mic drop.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to even sound like, yeah, I agree, I agree. But like, I literally do agree with everything that you're saying. Um, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to apply what we're learning? That's
Are you
it.
willing to change?
Yeah, because what's that cliche saying? Your new life is going to cost you your old one,
It will.
but it's worth it.
It is. It is. And I think that this is a beautiful place for us to wrap up. And, if there's anyone that has any questions, whether you are a client of ours, whether you are interested in coaching with us, whether you are coaching with someone else and you don't feel like you have what you want going there, first of all, look inward, see what you're doing. Second of all, it might not be you. It might just be that you're on a cookie cutter plan. And third of all, just know that we're always here to talk. We'll drop our Instagram handles below. So like if you wanted to reach out to us on Instagram or just like talk about your coaching experience, because I also do understand that having a shitty coaching experience could sometimes roll over into having a bad idea about how a coaching experience is supposed to go. And we actually did a really cool episode about red flags. It was specifically bodybuilding. Well, for the most part, it was like about bodybuilding prep and red flags in a bodybuilding prep, but there's a lot of value in there that talks about, things to avoid if you're looking for a certain kind of coach. And I would highly recommend to go check that video out if you haven't already to get some insight on what we stayed away from and recommend to stay away from if you're looking for a coaching experience similar to the ones that we provide our clients. And yeah, those are my final cents. Mans, do you have any final couple of cents?
Yeah, the only thing I will wrap up and leave with is if you truly want to change and you truly want to be coachable, you can do it. Like Sasha said, just reflect inward. You already know the answer. You have it in your gut if that person, that coach, that program is correct for you. And you know in your gut if you truly are applying yourself. So there is no shame if you do that reflection and you find out that maybe you're lacking and you could do more effort. That's fine. You're human. You'll grow. You'll get better. But just do it. You should want to be better for yourself, and we want you to be better, whether you're our client or not our client, or if you're a former client, we don't care. We want all of you guys to do good.
Yeah.
Do well.
Do well, live the lives that you want to be living, reach all of your goals, and just achieve your goals. Achieve your goals, achieve your dreams, all of that fun stuff. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, comment below if there's anything that stood out to you about what we feel is a coachable client, if there's anything that we missed, if there's any experience that you might have had with a coach or a client, if you're a coach listening to this. We'd be more than happy to read your comments, to respond back. And as always, stay tuned for the next podcast. I'm going to drop below my handle, Mandy's handle for Instagram. And Mandy actually started her own podcast on her YouTube channel and Spotify as well. And wait, I totally forgot. My podcasts are all mine and Mandy's. Both of our podcasts on both of our accounts are now going to be on Spotify as well. So we'll be like that was a mouthful, but we'll be
Yeah.
dropping all the information in the description so that way you can tune in to mine, you could tune into Mandy's, whether it's YouTube or Spotify. And we're just super excited to be bringing out some more value, bringing out some more podcasts. So stay tuned for the next one. All right. Bye, guys.